Hello guys, it's Nat Blue back at it with another video. So today we are going to be looking at the new crafting system in the 2024 Player's Handbook. D&D just uploaded this video today, so that gives you a timeline on how late I am uploading it to YouTube, because there's a decent gap in between my stuff right now. So we are going to jump right into this and just see what these guys got to say. This is a very short video, so that's always kind of nice.
We have a lot of new things in the player's handbook, but we also have crafting rules. Tell me about those.
So one of the surprises waiting for people in the new book are these crafting rules that make it easier than ever before for players who've dreamt of their characters making stuff to do exactly that. And these new crafting rules piggyback on a redesign of all of the tools in the player's handbook. So we've already talked about the fact that the equipment chapter has weapon masteries for all of the weapons. Well, we also gave new rules for all of the tools in the equipment chapter. Every tool now has something you can do with it using the utilize action. So the tool actually has a concrete function in regular play, but then also the artisan's tools in particular.
I didn't notice something about this picture that I wanted to point out. So, for the most part, this picture is just people blacksmithing. So, or smithing, I guess, is what you would call it. There's like the bars and the rods of metal at the top. Somebody's using the furnace to heat the metal. Somebody's hitting the metal with a blacksmith hammer. There's some cool tattoos in this, kind of matching tattoos a little bit on these two fellas. But then there's also a man carving into the metal for like the design of the hammer, which is a cool little feature. There's a guy that has baked bread. That's a cool feature. There's somebody eating at the top. So it seems like this is trying to showcase more than just the smithing process and involving a couple of other things in there.
Function in regular play, but then also the artisan's tools in particular, they now each have a list of things that you can craft with them. And so the new crafting rules interlock with the revised tools, where if you have the proficiency, you can then use that tool to craft things on that tool's list using the new crafting rules. The new crafting rules, in addition to providing you a way to make the weapons, armor, and adventuring gear in the player's handbook,
Those are some pretty cool looking armor pieces, to be honest.
also provide you an easy way to make potions of healing and also spell scrolls. Other magic items, their crafting rules are in the new Dungeon Master's Guide and are far more straightforward than the crafting rules we had in 2014. But we wanted to bring potions of healing and spell scrolls to the crafting rules in the player's handbook itself, because we already had the potion of healing in the player's handbook in 2014 as something you could buy from a regular shop. And we also now have spell scrolls on the adventuring gear list as something you can buy. And so we wanted people to be able to make those things themselves. We have also made it clearer how your tools interact with your ability scores. So if you're curious, well, what ability do I use when making a check with a tool? We now tell you that. And we've also added rules for every piece of adventuring gear in the book. So previously we had a big adventuring gear table, and only some of the items on that list had entries in the equipment chapter. Now every single thing on the adventuring gear table has an entry in the book that tells you what that piece of equipment is for. And there are also new pieces of equipment. Some of those new pieces of equipment are there because it's just simply something we thought should be in the player's handbook, but also some of it is there to actually support the tools and the crafting system. A great example of this is when working on the cartographer's tools, I realized, well, we don't have a map for you to make. And so we now have maps you can buy in the Adventuring Gear section with an actual game benefit. And then in the crafting system, now there's something for someone who has proficiency with cartographer's tools to actually make. And there are several other things like that that are not only going to be fun for people to purchase from the Adventuring Gear table and use and play, but then also fun for people to craft if they decide to dive into this crafting system. The crafting system will also give new uses for people's hard-earned gold, and it will also let them stretch their gold further, assuming they have enough time between adventures to actually spend on crafting.
When you pre-order the digital physical
So very short video, like I said. This sounds cool. I like crafting, not necessarily in video games. I'm not a big crafting guy in games, but I like that they're making this more of an option. I do wonder if this is because the Artificer is not being introduced as a core class. So like the Artificer is not in the player's handbook. It kind of makes me worry that they do not have plans to bring the Artificer into this new edition of D&D. Because it seems like they're making it easier for other PC classes to craft and kind of getting rid of the need for the Artificer. And that makes me a little bit sad because I do really enjoy the Artificer class. I've never played it. I've had players in games with me play Artificer, and it's just a really cool class to play around with. And it's another intelligence class, which I don't understand why D&D is releasing a new edition without making a new intelligence class. There is an odd thing in D&D where for some reason the only class that relies on intelligence seems to be the wizard. It would be cool to get like an adventurer class or something where they rely on intelligence, or like a treasure hunter class, something similar to like an Indiana Jones, Lara Croft kind of thing, where they can rely on intelligence a little bit more heavily. But the ideal thing would just be to keep the Artificer, and the Artificer can be the intelligence guy that isn't a wizard. But overall, the system seems cool. I just really hope this system doesn't mean that the Artificer class is going away with this edition. So, if you guys liked this video, please leave a like. Leave a comment about your opinion on this system. I don't think there's a lot of bad with it. My only concern is whether or not we are keeping that class that so many people like. Other than that, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. I really like making D&D content. I know that the first 3/4 of my YouTube channel doesn't have anything to do with D&D except for some Baldur's Gate play videos. But I really enjoy making D&D content with a new edition coming out and a lot of Kickstarters and stuff like DC-20, Crooked Moon, Tales of the Valiant, stuff like that coming out in the next year or so. I think there's going to be a better opportunity for me to do some breakdown videos like this. So I'm really looking forward to that. Other than that, I hope everybody is having a great day. I hope you guys had a good holiday if you're in the US with Independence Day. And until next time, peace.